Hey, this is Jeremy, and it's time to talk about Emilia Perez.
Emilia. It is. Emilia. It is. Emilia.
Emilia.
It is. Emilia.
Okay, I saw this last night at the FNC, and I'm still not really sure what I think about it. But it's actually part of the 11 films that I have to watch for the Fierté Montréal Prize, so I actually have to make up my mind about it at some point. So the film, directed by French filmmaker Jacques Audiard, who directed A Prophet, Rust and Bone, Paris 13th District, and The Beat That My Heart Skipped. It tells the story of a big Mexican drug kingpin played by Carla Sofia Gascon, who decides to hire Zoe Saldana, of all people, to help him transition into a woman, in a nutshell. And not because she's trying to hide from her enemies or whatever. She actually felt like a woman her whole life. And Selena Gomez is also there doing not much, and it's a musical. I think what I was most nervous about is, and what I wanted to see, is the mix of like musical and subject matter and violence. Like I wanted to know if that worked and if that came together. And it does. I mean, technically and I think conceptually, the movie works. So Audiard succeeded in that. But I think what left me really scratching my head is the story. It's very soap opera-ish. It's got a big case of the Almodovars, and that's not a good thing in my book. It feels exciting and novel at the beginning, but then towards the middle, when two of the characters start a nonprofit, I was like, girl, really? It's giving TV movie. It's giving Almodovar for Lifetime. I also got scared at the beginning because there's a song about plastic surgery, and I was like, that's kind of camp. Like, are we going to go in that direction? Are we going there? But luckily we don't hit those notes in the rest of the movie. So I guess in that sense, maybe this scene doesn't really fit in the movie, but it's kind of fun. The film won a special jury prize at the Cannes Film Festival, as well as a shared Best Actress prize between Carla Sofia Gascon, Zoe Saldana, and Selena Gomez. And I think ultimately at Cannes, people freaked out and were excited about the movie because it's a musical and because of the subject matter. And I think once it gets released, it's coming out on Netflix in November. We'll see how like the normies feel about it. Some other issues I had with it, other than the story, is the fact that the relationship between Gascon and Gomez isn't really explored. We don't learn much about it, and I wanted to know more about the dynamics of it. And also, actually, the Zoe Saldana character, we don't really learn much about her. She's really only there to kind of serve Emilia. Also, a few scenes take place in Switzerland, and they took me out. The fake snowstorms were really hilarious. And also the final scene, which I'm not going to say what it is, but it had me cackling like the end of the film Tar. It's really not the same thing, but like I was just laughing so much. No one else in my screening was laughing, but I find it hilarious. In terms of the performances, the standout for me is really Zoe Saldana. Even though her character goes through like the weirdest, most ridiculous things, it's kind of hard to take her performance seriously in a way because of what she's going through, what she gets herself into. But she manages to make it work. And obviously the singing and the dancing is great. I think people will talk about the singing and the dancing for her a lot. But for me, the best scene in the movie, both for her and I think for Carla Sofia Gascon, is a scene in the restaurant where they're kind of just looking at each other, and then there's a song. I think that was the most interesting scene for me in the movie, performance-wise. And Carla Sofia Gascon is also great in the film. She plays the character of Emilia pre and post transition. She's super funny in it. She has these great like deadpan one-liners. Selena Gomez manages to come out unscathed, although her character is kind of a bit underwritten. And there's a big scene at the end where like she learns something shocking, and I really wanted more from her in that scene. But she looks cute. The dancing is fun. The hair looks amazing. As for Oscar chances, I think Zoe, she's submitting herself in the Best Supporting Actress category. And I think she's got that locked. She will for sure be nominated, and I think she might even win that category. I think Carla Sofia Gascon will also make it into the Best Actress race, and make history as the first trans woman to be nominated for the award. But for other categories like Best Picture, Best Director, blah, 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 I think we really need to see how it's received once it drops on Netflix. Because right now, people who love the movie, who've seen it at festival, they really love the movie. And people who hate it kind of really hate it. So it'll be interesting to see public opinion and how that kind of changes the trajectory of this movie going towards the Oscars. And also, like, obviously we know that when stuff drops on Netflix, we saw that last year with May December, and people who have never heard a thing about the movie watch it because it's just there. That tends to have like weird consequences. But if it was up to me, I would nominate Zoe for sure, regardless of what I said earlier about her character. And I would maybe drop the movie into the 10 nominees for Best Picture. But I don't know if I would nominate Gascon. She's good, but I'm not sure she's Academy Award worthy. I think the history making factor with her nomination is playing a big part in this conversation. And I mean, I wouldn't be mad if she was nominated, but I don't know. It's just, it's okay. It's fun. It's good. But like, there could have been more. I'm seeing a lot of talk online and people are like, oh, this movie's going to be so divisive. And after seeing it, I'm like, what? Like, divisive based on what? Like, you mean transphobic people are going to hate it and non-transphobic people are going to like it? That doesn't mean it's divisive. That has nothing to do with the movie. It's just that people are transphobic. Or maybe they're saying that because it's a musical, which, like, okay, sure. Or maybe they're talking about the ending, which, okay. But it's not the first movie that ends in this way. Are you mad that it ends this way because she's a trans woman? Or, like, anyway, I don't want to spoil it, but, like, I'm not sure what this divisive conversation is about. As for me, after this whole video, I'm still not sure how I feel about Emilia Perez. Is it bad? No. Is it a masterpiece? No. Are we going to be talking about it in 10 years? Probably not. Is it well made? Yes. Does it look cute? Sometimes. Sometimes it's really saturated and weirdly shot, but it works. And I think ultimately I might just be indifferent to Emilia Perez. Which maybe I feel like that might be worse than hating it. Anyway, will you be catching Emilia Perez in theaters, or are you going to wait for it to come on Netflix?